dogs, YCS Las Vegas left way more questions than answers. Between the no stream, no ban list, and all of the drama that happened over the weekend, it's going to be very interesting to break down to you what's going on in this week of Yu-Gi-Oh! Today, big dog, not only will this video keep you up with the meta, the trends, and popular deck lists, I'm also going to be diving under the hood to answer some of those important questions that you need to know. Like, when will the ban list happen and how will the ban list affect us? Let's go ahead and jump on in. What's going on with ya, big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. Today, big dogs, it is a day Monday, a particular point of the video where we talk about something to make you a better person overall. Don't worry, if you only care about Yu-Gi-Oh! And what happened at the event, I do have timestamps, but this one is about Yu-Gi-Oh! It's actually explaining why I didn't go to YCS Las Vegas. If you guys didn't know, Las Vegas is my second home. So there are a couple of reasons why I didn't attend. One is just straight standing on business. I don't appreciate the things that Konami has done to us. Whether it's bad product, poor communication, and pricing, I thought it would have been pretty hypocritical of me to voice my opinion against these things only to support these things by attending the events. For me as that guy, it just didn't make sense. But the next biggest thing that I want to talk to you guys about, which I think is an important part of Update Monday, is family. In case you guys didn't know, for the past month or so, I have been running myself pretty ragged. Between my new first job as a teacher, my second job as a streamer, and my third job as making you guys YouTube videos, and you can throw in my fourth job as the merch. Go ahead and check out TheCaliEffect.com and pick up all of your sleeves and mats today. It can be incredibly tiring, but more importantly, it does take away a lot of time from my family. And I do want to apologize to everyone coming out to Las Vegas, Nevada, thinking as an extra bonus they would be able to see me. Next time, I'll actually make a particular time frame where I'll pop out, see you guys, sign some autograph, take some pictures, chill, and then go back to doing what I was doing. Which brings us back into the video. Time. Something we don't seem to have a lot of. Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are running out of patience because the ban list isn't out. And it was especially wary considering that we didn't have a stream for YCS Las Vegas. Let's unpack that a little bit and break down how streams typically work. Okay, so typically, we only receive streams in North America and in Europe. And by North America, I mean just America. Canada and Mexico don't get streams. So players were taken aback where there was no announcement that we would get a stream, and only for it to be confirmed for it not to have a main stage for streaming. I think players were incredibly upset at this because it was so exciting to see Jerome walk around with the briefcase and the whole little announcement that came alongside of it, but players were still optimistic because we actually had a time where we did receive a ban list when there wasn't a YCS stream. If I remember correctly, it was actually the Philadelphia YCS and it was on a Saturday, so we wouldn't have to wait to the end of a stream to be able to get it. Kind of cool, except that didn't happen either. And this is exactly the BS that I'm talking about when it comes to Konami. Inconsistencies, lack of communication, and of course, letting you down when you least expect it. Well, I guess it could be expected that we're let down at this point in time, right? Now, you're probably wondering where exactly does that lead us when it comes to the ban list? Fortunately enough, I've worked with Konami long enough to understand how they work with things. We had creator uploads for Maze of the Master the week before, which means that we won't have any creator uploads anytime soon. We also know that there is another YCS in Argentina that's happening in about 2 weeks. And we also know that on April 5th, YCS Texas or Houston, Texas is going to happen. Since I'm recording and uploading this video late into the day, that pretty much confirms that we aren't getting a ban list today. And historically, Konami gives you ban lists on Monday or Friday. This pretty much means that the earliest we can get a ban list, at least historically and statistically, would be March 21st. And the latest we can get one is YCS Houston, Texas. Now, of course, guys, I have an assignment. I want you guys to let me know down below in the comment section, when do you think the next ban list will come out? And more importantly, what cards do you think will be on the ban list? This video is going to give you some information on what happened in topping decks, and I'll also give you some insight onto what Konami is thinking. I might even make a prediction list myself, because I did make a perfect ban list to fix the Yu-Gi-Oh meta. Maybe I should also give you what I think Konami should do from a business perspective. I think that it's really crappy that players have to endure potentially 2 more YCSs of a technical tier 0 format, but that's probably what leads us to the next topic, the tier 0 format. YGO has actually been running a tear on the YCS circuit. It's really weird that when you start to look at the YCS statistics and compare them to regional statistics, they're almost a tale of 2 stories. YGO completely dominating the top cut inside of YCS Las Vegas, as well as other major events, but in the regional aspect of things, other decks being able to thrive under said events. The cards don't necessarily change when we talk about popular Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I noticed that Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit has had a huge uptick. It's really good against cards like Fiendsmith Desiree, because Fiendsmith Desiree needs to be face up on the field in order to negate cards, and it's also good against cards like YGO Dual Drive. Who would have guessed? Ghost Ogre is the perfect counter to both of these engines, whether players are playing the Fiendsmith YGO or pure YGO, because they seem to be equally as successful inside of this format. The 7th Tachyon was a card that is disappointing, kind of. To be honest with you, Maze of the Masters didn't have the same impact as some of the other Yu-Gi-Oh sets have had on YCSs. We'll go over some of the deck lists a little bit later, and some of them are Maze of the Master theme, which I'm really excited for, but overall, I would say that you don't need 7th Tachyon to be able to compete in this meta. The $70 price tag will not be worth it until the ban list. I'm 100% confident that the ban list is going to change that. Harpy's Feather Duster is almost main deck worthy in my opinion. Being able to beat cards like Dominus Impulse, Infinite Impermanence, Metal Rowness, Malice cards that your opponent sets face down, and of course the normal back row cards or field spells like YGO Cross is really, really important in this format. And lastly, cards that have been jumping in and out of importance, Droll and Lockbird is even more powerful because most YGO decks are either a variant or search way too much with the 7th Tachyon cards. So Droll and Lockbird is really good at preventing your opponent from comboing off. And then of course, Crossout Designator, because if it is a tier 0 format, then YGO is really good at stopping YGO with Crossout as well as hand traps. Now on to the deck list, which I think represents the tale of 2 stories that I was talking about. YCS Las Vegas was a team YCS, meaning that 3 people needed to make a team to participate against other teams in order to get the top cut. Unfortunately for a team YCS, it's only a top 16, but when you multiply the 16 times 3, you actually get more decks that Konami can look at and see what needs to be hit. Go figure though, YGO kind of dominated that particular area. Out of the top 48 decks, YGO had 34 slots, which is crazy. You can also even say that the deck is pretty much solved as we jump into the deck list. And to give you a point of reference, this build is world champion Ruben Panaranda's top 16 Fiendsmith YGO build, and this is first place Jesse Cotton's build. There's not a lot of difference. I mean, of course, one is playing SP Little Knight while the other is playing DDD Wave High King Caesar, and their side decks are a little bit different, geared towards different situations, but overall, these don't have a huge difference between one another, at least enough to be able to talk about. To be completely honest with you, most of the meta is exactly like that. If you aren't playing Fiendsmith YGO, you're likely playing YGO with the 7th Tachyon package, which gives you access to Totally Awesome. This is a more pure version of YGO, the winning deck list from Michael Albanese, and his YGO Shark deck, which uses the rank up magic to not only search into your combo, but can also search into Servicing Big Jaws, which can search Drive Shark, which gets you Totally Awesome from Bahamut Shark, which is really, really good for the deck. The only real difference in YGO builds being Nicole Nicotera's YGO Voiceless Voice deck, which I didn't think was a combination of cards that could or should be together. I want to say congratulations to all of the players that had success at YCS Las Vegas, but if I'm being honest with you guys, I'm pretty sure we're all sick and tired of seeing YGO deck lists. And that's where the tales of 2 stories comes from inside of this format. While YGO dominates the high level events, other decks show themselves at regional events and below. This is Stefan A's Kashtira Mimigul deck that topped a Yu-Gi-Oh regional, and I gotta say, I was probably a little bit wrong about Mimigruels. This is the second time that this deck has had success, especially at a regional level, so congratulations to you, Stephanie, as your deck definitely does pass the vibe check. You are a Mimighoul whose name should probably forever remembered in stone. I spoke about it a bit in last week's video, talking about how some strategies from Maze of the Masters could be very strong. So Odeon's deck actually did get a top, and it's kind of crazy. This is a strategy that I would believe would not only get tops for right now, but also in the future, because it is pretty much primed to be able to tackle on some of the best decks in the game. Being able to search any trap card through the Lord of the Heavenly Prison, which can get you cards like Imperial Iron Wall, Dimensional Barrier, and different Dimension Ground, depending on the situation that you're in, is huge. And that card is searchable through Gallant Granite, which could also search Nibiru the Primal Being, which is also a target for Merciless Scorpion of the Circuit. The deck is really, really good, and I think this may be one of the contending strategies for the future. Congratulations to Hadar Moram and his Odeon deck. I'm pretty excited to play the deck myself. Here we have Arya Aziz in his Yubel Fiendsmith deck. Never thought that I'd be happy to see Yubel still being a top contending Yu-Gi-Oh strategy, but it pretty much is. This one actually main decking the Ghost Ogres over Infinite Impermanence, big dogs. I'm telling you, Ghost Ogre is a really, really important card. Yubel is still really, really good. And another strategy that actually got support from Supreme Darkness is Crystron. This time around, this one being a Crystron Kashtira Azamina deck, it pretty much means that your Crystron cards are going to be used last, while your Kashtira and your Azamina cards are either bait or your negations. I'm absolutely loving how other Yu-Gi-Oh strategies can compete at the lower levels, regionals, and below, despite YCS's looking like just a tier 0 YGO format. And it brings a really interesting question. Are we genuinely in a format where YGO is the dominant deck and other decks can't compete? My argument would be no. I think that players are picking the best deck available, the easiest deck to play, and the strongest deck in the meta when it comes to the highest levels events in YGO. But when it comes to regional events and below, players are more comfortable playing other decks because there's not a lot of pressure. Ironically, Yu-Gi-Oh's trash prizes are a good thing, kind of. I want you guys to think about it, and maybe this is for a whole different video. But if regional prizing and above had cash prizing, we'd probably be in a tier 0 format every single time, because players would be incentivized to be able to play the best deck available, and since Yu-Gi-Oh is so unfairly balanced, Yu-Gi-Oh would actually be worse. But since the prizing for a regional is a deck box, things are a little bit more lax. Of course, class, as per usual, I want to know your thoughts on this matter. When are we getting the ban list? What's going to be on the ban list? And of course, the state of your Yu-Gi-Oh meta. I can't wait to read what you guys have to say, and I also can't wait to catch you guys on stream a little bit later. Probably like in, I don't know, 10 minutes after this video is uploaded. Until then, big dog, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Be sure to check out these videos so I can catch you on the next one.